Well, hello, hello. We're back again for another Wet Ink Wednesday. This time, this is our Q2 quarterly report. Brandon Ayton, you speaker view. They won't see that unless you said something.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I
Hey,
had lasers,
Brandon,
but
why
now I
don't
don't have lasers, so that's fine.
just have a timeout? What's happening? Just do it again now that you're.
Yeah, and then now I can do it. Woo, lasers. Anyway, lasers are fun.
Uh,
I
this
love
is
lasers. Yeah, I love lasers. Anyway,
ridiculous.
it's pretty ridiculous.
I Yeah,
That's just how we go, how we roll right now.
that's how we roll right now. So we have produced a little list of things that we might want to talk about for this
Yeah.
quarter two conversation about like what we've been up to and what we're gonna be up to. Do you want to speak about the two things that are waiting to be fulfilled still?
Heck
Are
yeah.
they're in fulfillment?
They are they are in early stages of fulfillment. I can see them in the web interface for our warehouse. Look like they're doing some either smoke testing or unit testing of their pick and pack process, but it looks like Psychic Kids and Home are going to be fulfilling real soon. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to
Sure.
jinx it
No, no
because
jinx.
there's been plenty of speed bumps along the way, but we are definitely closer now than we ever have been. And the fact that we've seen the products, we had some of them sent for when we did Gamma, so we've seen them, held them in our hand.
That's
Have
right.
we know they're here and they
That
look great.
They do.
So
They do look great. It's been a long road, a lot of design work, a lot of, obviously design work on the front end. The layout work is another whole layer of design work, and then the manufacturing process, and then the waiting, and now in the warehouse, and there's another whole process there about how to get
ugh.
it, all the data uh inputted and onboarded and it ready to go out. But yeah, closer than ever.
So there's we've worked with BackerKit before. And BackerKit's great because you have all these different formats. They generally will work with a lot of the big fulfillment houses, and you can say, okay, well, here's all the data that I have. I know that, say, Quartermaster Logistics, for example, uses this one particular format for their intake process, and you can just export that directly from BackerKit. BackerKit makes that easy for some of those big vendors. However, our warehouse right now that we're using uh, doesn't use those formats, those pre-generated sheets, but they do have a spreadsheet intake process. So there's a lot of like manual manipulation of spreadsheets and putting things in the right format and making it acceptable, hitting all the required fields for the new intake process. And so it's just you know
I
I'm a freak of the sheets, right?
I'm reminded of a XKCD from back in the day where it's like there are 12 competing formats. We should invent a new one that covers every use case. Now there are 13 competing formats.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And
tough.
sure, it's fine. Like data entry is data entry. However, all of that is it's in the hands of our fulfillment partner and our warehouse partner now. So that's good. Um and the growing pains are here considering these are uh the first projects that are being
Hmm.
fulfilled by them. Once we go through this process, once we get fully onboarded and everything with them, hopefully, knock on wood, this process will be much easier. So when we fulfill Zero Day War, or Never Going Home or
Never
Garbage
going
and
home.
Glory,
Garbage and glory.
all of these things in the near future, that it just goes a lot smoother. So,
Right.
yep. So we're just it's a little frustrating, but it's in the in the grand scheme of things, it will be. I'm optimistic that it will be uh well worth the wait, and it'll be a good solution. So,
Well, yeah, it hopefully people feel that it is. It's certainly a cool and well-made product. So
oh yeah, and getting let me tell you, it home is so cool. I mean, it's just not only is it a cool game, but and we can talk about Gamma in a little bit, but like
yeah, that's our next topic,
retailers who saw it at Gamma were like, "Oh man, this people in my shop would go crazy for this." So,
right?
it's cool to hear that from retailers. It's a cool project. Psychic Kids, people were picking that up because they like a lot of our +1 games already, and they say, "Okay, well, this game, Heckin' Good Doggos, does really well, and Never Going Home does really well. Let's take a stab at this." And yeah,
Just to add, since we mentioned retailers, the retailers have not received home yet either. Like this is no one has
oh,
received it.
that is
So
a very good point.
right. So
Right. So it's not like exactly
but
right.
we were showing it off, right? That's the point of
They're
Gamma,
showing it off.
which we're going to talk about now.
Sure.
So the Game Manufacturers Association, shortened to Gamma, because I guess that sounds better than blah. Uh, we're a member, obviously, not obviously, but we're a member of Gamma as a publisher, and so they had they have an expo every year, and fortunately for Brandon and I, like the conference came, the expo came to us, like it was in our town.
Yeah.
So never been to a con in my own town before. It was I mean not like this.
Yeah, not
We've
like
been to the
a
small
trade
local
show,
play
right?
con, but like this is a trade show. Like we took over the what is it, the Kentucky International Convention Center? Like,
Yep. It's not a small space, man.
it was not a small space. Gamma didn't fill it up, but we got room to grow. So it was pretty cool to be there. And you know, I have never had a job. Well, I haven't had a job downtown in a very long time. So it was also interesting to just be downtown and like these are the restaurants that we go to. It was just it felt so surreal, I guess, in some respects to be there. Doing work that we usually do in Columbus or Philadelphia or, Indianapolis. But it's like, oh, and then we'll just go to like our local pizza place that we know about right over here.
Right
You
over
know,
here. We're gonna go around the corner to this basement and have a beer and a salad.
we did
Right?
do that. We did do that. And we walked down the street to like a different favorite brewery, and it was great.
Yeah.
Every it's nice to be in the I don't know, have that hometown advantage, I guess, to feel like you had that hometown advantage.
And
Uh,
we have to make some plans for next year. I mean, Wet Ink Games is definitely going to be a Gamma again next year. It's
Absolutely.
for the next at least the next few years. Gamma is going to be in Louisville. The great thing too is that I mean, we just got an email from Gamma that they were talking about, from the board that was talking about just how positive the feedback about it being here as opposed to Reno
Mm.
was. People loved the convention center. Then they said Gamma was, what did they say, 30% bigger than it was,
I
or
don't
my,
know what they said. The people that were at the hall said it was like 200% bigger. Like
oh,
it was three
then
times the size that it had been previously. That's what people in the hall
that,
were saying.
there it is. That's there's a three in there somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
Three times,
yeah.
yeah, three times
Three
as large. I
times
mean,
this big.
it was very large. We had a lot of people there, which was great. A lot of new designers and
Hmm.
new companies were there. Saw some of the old favorites. But again, it's an opportunity for companies to show off some of their new stuff to retailers and distributors. Um, and which is we've never really had that opportunity as a growing indie company,
Yeah.
and now we did, and
Now
we'll
we
do it
did.
again next year. So,
Yeah, I've got here on my desk, I've got these are all the cards from people that I'm supposed to be following up with that I haven't followed up with yet because it's been a busy month. Uh, so sorry, Adam and Ray and Steve. I'll get to you guys. Uh,
Yeah.
but
It's definitely been crazy. But the I I thought Gamma was great. As you said, having it in our hometown was a fantastic experience, and we have some plans next year. I think we
yeah,
might, host something for some of our industry peers, just at least to get together and an opportunity for Wet Ink to um, just sh- show some of our gratitude for some of the
mm,
companies that we've worked with in the past, but also to do some networking as well. There's a whole
oh,
lot of
absolutely.
networking that goes on at Gamma, and
Yeah.
um,
I mean, it's one of those things you hear like, oh, it's just networking all the time. And it's like, okay, what does that look like? And it's like, no, it is networking all the time. Like, I talk to people in the hallway. Like, there was like, I talked to people like in the different, there was like a whole meeting room, lunch room that was like a chill space where you could just hang out. And like, we went to
oh
meals with
yeah,
people, like, to get to know them better. And then people would
I
come,
sat next to someone at one of the panels, and I was like, we were talking about getting things into mass market
mm,
retail channels, and I asked, oh well, what's your product? And they told me what their product was, and I was like, oh yeah, and like was giving the specs of their product. Like, how do you know my product? And I'm like, because it's right there on my shelf. Like, it's I own your product. I've
yeah,
seen it. And they were like, oh, and and obviously we got to talk about manufacturing. We got to talk about retail distribution through their mass market channels as well, and who their distributors are, things like that. Which
right.
that was a moment of opportunity, sitting just next to the that person in a panel talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good experience all around.
Yeah, I did a couple of game jams. I've been because I'm counting as a convention for the year, so definitely did some game jams with some people with Rick and Kimmy, and those are already on the channel. So if you're watching this, those are scroll down a little bit further and you'll find those.
Speaking of Kimmy, by the way,
Yeah,
Kimmy is the designer and creator of a session zero kind of tarot tool
yeah,
called Decuma. It's awesome, by the way. Highly recommend it. She won an Ennie for it, gold Ennie. Uh, it's a fantastic product. So totally giving shout outs and props to Kimmy. She was at Comic Con last week and did some
dressed as Rogue.
did Rogue cosplay, and I was
Yeah,
like, yeah, this is dope. I mean, she did a great job. Like,
it
well done.
was solid. I
It was pretty solid.
yeah,
Getting that
I
X-Men 97 excitement, I guess.
I right. 'Tis the season.
All right.
It,
Anyway.
it's the iron was hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is like, I mean, Kimmy is somebody that one of the people that we met, and like, I mean, she actually reached out ahead of the con to be like, hey, I need to know somebody that's going to be at the con. So, hey, I'm introducing myself to you guys. And then, you know, we did a game jam, she and I, and then we went to the three of us, you and Brandon, we went to lunch one time, and it was a there's no substitute for that like face-to-face time and the getting to know each other that you can do at a con. So it's nice that, hey, look, we love our fans. We love people coming to the booth. We love to hear about your characters and your games that you played, but we also really like to talk to each other about like all the industry stuff and the insider information, and so to have no con attendees, or rather all the con attendees are the industry people. There are no
Yeah.
like there I'm pretty sure there was no cosplay there. Like it is not an attendee event.
No.
Um, it is for if you've got work to do, come and do the work. And so it was great to have that con experience and do a bunch of work.
Yep. All in all, it was a great experience. Highly recommend it for uh highly recommend it for companies that are growing. Some indie companies, I guess, could find value there. Individual creators might be able to find some value in, potentially networking for freelance gigs or something like that. Maybe, but a lot of the companies are, just slammed every moment of every day.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I know
so
Spencer came
there's
down
yeah,
from Indy and
yep,
I mean their Spencer's first game is called We Can Be Heroes. I think the Kickstarter may be done by the time that we're recording this, but I think it was active at the time that he was there. And I mean, he said it was great, even as a
yeah,
no booth, just going around to panels, getting his feet wet in the industry kind of stuff.
yeah.
Um, uh, so it was, and he had a shirt with his game's logo on it. He was there to promote himself and his brand, but doing it not without a table, just as a person. So he found value in it. So it is, you can too, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And again, you have to figure out if the if the expense is going to be worth it for you, right?
Sure.
As a freelancer, like if you're not from here or nearby or whatever, like you still
Hmm.
gotta come. If you have to be a GAMA member, because it's not, you just can't go
Right.
and walking off the street. You have to be a GAMA member and all that stuff. Um, so if all of that stuff works out for you and financially it works for you, great. But as someone in the industry, I mean, we've talked about going in the past, and we had no excuse not to go this year,
Absolutely not. Absolutely
and
not.
it was well worth it, and I look forward to doing it again.
Yeah.
We got some other cons coming up too, which is exciting.
Yeah, I mean, sort of our standard mix of cons. We can go through that quickly. I mean, we're Origins Game Fair in Columbus, uh, Gen Con in Indianapolis. We're in on Gamehole Con in
Yeah, I
Madison,
love Gamehole.
Wisconsin.
Gamehole Con is going to be great. Love it.
That was a new one for us last year, and we're going back this year. It's a great show. Um, and then we'll come to Nerd Louisville. That I don't think the plans for that are they're Nerd Luvia. I'm sorry, the local con that we go to. That we'll go to that if it's held this year, which it should be, but I
Yeah.
don't think plans are announced yet. And then what about PAX? That's our other one that we've got on the deck, but I don't know if it's were we able to rebook there last year or is that
No, PAX
um
Unplugged,
it's not
they
open
don't
yet.
book. Yeah, they don't open up the reservations until later in the year. So,
Right. But
which
it's on the plan.
yes, it's on the plane. Which I understand why they do that, but I love the conventions where you can go and before you even leave, you can sign up for next year, because if
Mhm.
you have a great opportunity and you're riding that excitement and that high of a great con experience, being able to sign up and say yes, we will commit to coming and supporting your con next year. It's awesome. Now, Gamehole Con, this will be our second year. They said that, hey, of course we want you back, but again, it's still a reapplication process. PAX is the same way. This will be what, our third, fourth PAX?
Well, I think we
Yeah,
went
yeah. This will be our fourth, right?
I think we went in 2021.
Yeah,
So yeah, this will be the fourth one.
yeah. Um, so it's a lot of fun. We'll just keep going and keep going.
Yeah. And I don't know, we've gotten there's so many other cons we could go to. We've been recommended to go to Metatopia and Save Against Fear, and Gary
But
Con was like this past weekend. It was like PAX East and Gary Con and
Adepticon,
Adepticon was happening, and then like the last couple weeks, there's been an Unpub event in Baltimore. There's been uh I don't even know, like just so many we could be going to, but also
and
it's like
Metatopia is one that it's up in Morristown, New Jersey, and it's a lot of game designers doing uh
playtesting.
a lot of play testing and just sharing some of the some design, not secrets, but like design tips, and like, oh, you might want to try that, and, going back and forth and having, again, networking with other designers.
Yeah.
um yeah, and I went to grad school like the next town over, and I was always looking for game stuff to do. And if I would have known that Metatopia was the next town over, I yeah, it would have
Yeah,
been awesome. But I didn't know that.
you didn't know that. You did you tell this story when we did this like 3 months ago? I don't even
We
remember.
may have. I mean, I it's but it's one of those things I just get. I always think about that. Like, man, I want to go to Metatopia. It's one of
Well,
those. I know, obviously, I know the area, but Metatopia itself is just sounds like a great experience from scratch that design itch. And
sure.
like, yeah, I want to be able to just go play test with some really excellent designers. And not that we need more work to do, but if it can't hurt to network with other designers and see what people are doing.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right. There's a mini item on the list. We talked about cons. That wasn't on the list. So anything else to say about Gamma real quick before we got to move on to our next topic?
It was great.
It was great. I agree.
Thumbs
Uh,
up.
thumbs up.
uh,
Uh, so you told me I didn't get to see it yet, so I want to see. You told me you got some proofs over there that you're going to show off.
I did. It was great. So as between our last update and this one, we had launched a Kickstarter for our first board game called Zero Day War. We kind of showed off a little bit, or we talked about that a little bit last time. Zero Day War, the Kickstarter was funded. The game, we sent everything to the factory, which included the core game, an expansion, and a playmat. All right. So I got a couple of packages in the mail. Yesterday. Yesterday, um, from Watts Games. So I got this thing, and I was like, "Oh, cool! Our playmat." And I got this other big box. Ah, sorry. And I got this other big box. I was
That's a
like,
big
"Oh,
box.
cool! This has some stuff in it too. Probably our core stuff." Well, it was not our playmat. It was our actual uh our page proofs here in this in the long tube, and I was like,
That's
well,
that seems a
the
very large box to have sent those in.
yeah, well, it was funny because it's our page proofs and our card proofs. Ah, so like
Yeah.
it's like your full uncut sheets, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I was pleasantly surprised to see that. It was not what I was expecting to see. I was expecting to see just the like flat sheets instead of the full uncut. And then in the other one, we had our, where is it? The full Zero Day War playmat.
There you go. Look at that.
It looks great. It feels great. We opted for the stitched neoprene. So sometimes if you have a playmat and you use it a whole lot, you'll see, the layer that kind of comes off of that neoprene mousepad material. We said, well, we'll just spring for a little extra of the production cost to make a better product. I mean,
That's
that's generally what we do, right? We want to make a better
we've
product
made that
for.
decision before.
So
It looks
when you
great.
say, okay, well, what's in this box, right?
Yeah, what is in that box?
Ah, and I'm knocking stuff over.
You're you were not set up to present this in a efficient manner.
Look at that. I can throw whatever I want. I can do this. I can dig. Anyway, so when you do manufacturing, certain companies they'll send you all your digital proofs and they'll send you your final or whatever. One of the things I like about Watts, and other companies do this, and other manufacturers do this as
Yeah.
well, they'll send you a blank proof, right? All right. So this is the blank proof for Zero Day War, and this is a blank proof for the expansion box, right? So uh in a blank proof, what they'll do is they'll give you every physical component, or if they don't do a physical component, they'll tell you what they're not going to include. Um, So they gave us a blank proof of this will be the size of the rule book. It's going to be the exact same page count, but again, they didn't print anything on it. We're including an art print of the cover um, as well in the box, and they'll go through and say, okay, well, we'll do our insert. They'll show you these are the colors that you selected when you made your order. Are these the colors that you want? You can go through and say, I'd like the green to be a little darker or whatever. And
Right.
then, you go through all of your other token elements, right? Your first player marker, you have some of your rule cards, or um, these are going to be some of our exploits, and these are going to be our programs that we're hacking and stuff like that in the game. So they just show you this is what it's going to look like. This is how it's going to fit in the box. This is how we're going to assemble it. And if you have any corrections or if you have any additional thoughts, let us know. Um, and it's always good to see that. Like when we did this with Jiangshi, they sent us the blank proof, and we actually had them redo the insert in that one, um, just because of uh how it was gonna ship or move around during shipment. Same thing with home. Home is actually the same size box as this, so you put this on a shelf, you can put it next to home, and etc. It's going to be kind of our the direction of our line. But one of the things that um excuse me, with home, we had them redesign the insert so all of the expansion packs could fit in the main box.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it was cool to be able to see like, okay, here's this is what it's going to look like here on a shelf, and we have the expansion. This will also be able to sit on a store shelf, um, right next to the box retailers. At Gamma for when we got to network with some of these retailers, we were able to get some of their feedback. And so a lot of our retailers liked the concept of the expansion packs for home, but then we also got some feedback from some who said, I wish those were in small boxes that we could put on the shelf next to it. Because I don't,
It's fair. It's a
yeah,
fair
it's fair
critique.
assessment. But even when we made that decision for home, we had those conversations with various retailers prior to doing that anyway. And again, we were like, well, we're gonna try this thing new and we'll see how that goes. And if we have to repackage things in the future, fine, but it's worth a shot, right? It doesn't hurt to try something new. Um, and so with Zero Day War, we have a box. We'll see how that goes, and um,
Right.
see how it all plays out. Uh, all in all, I was very pleased to see that. I'm going to take some pictures of all of those. I'm going to put those on the Zero Day War Kickstarter and update, and we should be getting the backer kit out probably. I got to get it approved. It'll probably be first week of April. It will be out and ready to go.
And that's
So
like option for late pledge and all that kind of stuff.
option for exactly late pledge, or say like, oh well, I didn't had add the expansion when I first backed it, maybe I want that now, or hey, I've seen that playmat looks pretty sweet, maybe I'll add it on, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, get it, because that's probably not going to retail. Like
Get it all the time.
we
Oh, the
might,
playmat is not.
yeah,
Playmat's not.
we might have a few in for convention sales, but that's definitely not going to retail.
No, you'll be able to get it through directly through Wet Ink Games through our online fulfillment, and you'll be able to get it from us at retail or at cons.
Right.
Yep, exactly that. Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to see this, especially as our first board game, our first entry into that realm, and
Yeah.
um, you know, it's going to be cool to see that in conventions coming up. Be able to put that playmat out on our table and have the game set up and be able to walk people through that as we go through with some demo copies and
Right.
yeah.
some of that furniture, that booth furniture that we saw at Gamma, that we're like, ooh, that's sweet. We got to get one of those.
Gotta get one of those.
Set up our little display of a game. Um,
Yep. I got
you know,
mhm.
it's
I have
research. It's a
the tab
research.
open. I have the tab open.
that that means almost nothing, Brandon, because I've seen how many tabs you can have open. Like,
I have a lot of tabs open.
uh, all right. So I mean, we could go through these last couple items pretty quickly.
Sure.
Uh, I want to talk about are there projects which are still in production, but not in like, I mean, I guess they're still in the design phase. I don't know. They haven't gone to print. They're still ephemeral in that way, right?
Ooh, but one's real close.
One's real close. I think we got to talk about Never Going Home. That's the one
Yeah,
that's been in process for the longest of these. Um
it looks so good.
these actually we initiated back in 2022 because I remember this is what we talked about in 20 talking about cons again. In 2022 when we were sitting there with nothing to do in the airport on our way back to Louisville, we sent all of the first round of messages to all of the people who became the writers for Never Going Home and all of the people for Garbage and Glory. So those projects both started like late in the year 2022. Um, initial, hey, would you like to do this messages? That's what I mean by started, right? Like
Yeah,
that it's so they've both been in the process for a long time. And Never Going Home is pretty close now. Um, one of the books is laid out. We've shared some pictures from the interior of that again on the Kickstarter page for Never Going Home. The 1914 book is done through layout. Um, and Matthias, the layout artist, is on to the next one. Um, it's taken a long time to get all the paper textures, and there's definitely like some back and forth. You know, Matthias is the third graphic designer to work on the series, so there's like definitely been some uh, you know, level setting and like, false starts and stuff like that with like, title treatments and stuff like that. It's like you're doing something new here. We want to keep it similar to the things that have been done before, so but that's the process. That's the process.
yeah,
You bring somebody new on and you show them the old stuff and make it look like this and no, make it look a little more like this. Oh no, except that one page. Make it look less like do do
yeah.
do something new with this one page, and it's
In being able to watch the back and forth between you and Matthias going through this, being able to say like, "Oh, I like what you did here,"
mhm.
but on these other pages, kind of like look at this other reference that we sent you, and he's like, "Oh, okay," and going back and forth that way. It's really cool to see, because now that he's got that under his belt,
Right,
uh,
that's where I was
the
leading
other,
to.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the other two books will happen much more quickly because it's all of the stuff is now in hand and the product is moving the project is moving forward. So
Yep.
also related to that, we have the stretch goals. The stretch goals are uh I believe there are now of the 22 stretch goals which were unlocked, I believe only four have yet to be finalized. And I've seen all the drafts. People are working on their second drafts of those ones, and so we're close to the end of that process. And then, all these things are staggered, right? Like we're getting the books are in layout, and the stretch goals are still being written. And then by the time the books are done and at the printer, then maybe the stretch goals will be ready to be edited, and then they'll be laid out after that. It's everything is staggered, but that's where those things are. Um,
Yeah.
Similarly with Garbage and Glory, that manuscript is I don't know, I would say it's about 85% complete at this point. We're still writing some of the monsters.
We
Um,
actually just probably about
but yeah, during
30
this
minutes ago.
call, like a notice
Yeah,
came
a
in.
notice came up and like,
One
oh,
of the writers
one of the writers dropped a bunch of stuff in there. So
yep, put some new stuff in. So, that stuff is getting finalized. And then again, like it's a process of once the manuscript is done and once the manuscript feels right and the actions the tone is right, which all of that can still be massaged. We're still working at it. Um, then that'll go to editing and then layout and then production, and
But the cool thing about that is we kind of got a jump start on
oh, that's true.
some of
This
that work
wasn't really
already.
this, yeah. So we teased this last time we had a quarterly report. But yeah, it's out there now. The news is out. Uh, I don't know. Talk about it a little bit, Brandon.
Yeah. So um, people who follow Free RPG Day know that we did a Free RPG Day supplement. It's a quick start for Heckin' Good Doggos last year. People loved it. It was very well received. And they were begging for it. No. Anyway,
You're
so
banned.
you're bad. That's right. Get out. You think about what you did. Um, and anyway, it was very well received. And Matt and I looked at the amount of, I guess, the dollar for dollar
Mm,
marketing expense of doing something like Free RPG Day. Not only does it is it getting advertised all over the place with by people who by retailers who are supporting that and participating in Free RPG Day. The Free RPG Day crew is doing a promotion and all of that. Plus, people are posting their RPG Day hauls, or websites are reviewing the various products, and that's always cool to see. And so we decided, well, yeah, we're just gonna do Free RPG Day again, but what are we gonna do this year? And so we put together a quick start for Garbage and Glory this year. Free RPG Day, you can see the detail of it on the Free RPG Day website, and you can follow them on social media, and you'll be able to see all of the cool things that are being offered by some great companies this year. But yeah, the quick start, it's got the Sam Brick art that makes Garbage and Glory so awesome.
so
Um,
awesome.
but also, as Matt was talking about with layout and design,
Yeah.
well,
This,
we've already laid out a Garbage and Glory
right,
book,
right.
and
This,
so the flavor is there, and right now it's just okay. You have your marching orders, put the text there, and we'll massage it and let's go.
right. Those title treatments, or not title treatments, but like, I mean, a title treatment too, but like the title, not the title treatment that's on the cover, but like what am I trying? Headings, the heading stylings, the
Hmm.
stylings of the headings is what I meant when I said title treatments. But those things, the assets about like color schemes and backgrounds and like, is it little, it's like a crinkled paper texture in the background a little bit. So like, you're literally holding a piece of trash because that's what that's the feel of it. That's the feel of it, right? So all of that stuff has been established for Garbage and Glory already because we did this quick start. So yeah, I mean, once it gets where again, like we've knocked on wood and crossed our fingers, crossed our toes several times in this conversation already, but like, you know, Garbage and Glory should be ready for the summer.
Yeah.
We're hoping that it gets there quickly because it has been a long time in process. So, um, but some of that work, like we said, has been done. So that step will happen faster because Matthias had the time to do the work before. And I want to say Josh Heek is the one who wrote the adventure. The quick start is a
Oh,
collaboration. I boiled the rules down and then sent the rules to Josh, and Josh wrote an adventure. So it's a collaboration between the two of us as far as like working on this quick start, and um, and then
yeah.
Matthias's art and Sam's images and Matthias's work. It's Sarah edited it. It's like
Yeah,
it's a team effort. It's a team effort like everything.
it's going to be an awesome product. I mean, I have a couple boxes of it upstairs in my living room, and you know, it looks good. It looks real good.
Right.
I think you guys are really going to like it.
Yeah. When do you know when Free RPGDA is this year?
I do.
Is it one of those tabs you have open on your
Let me use my memory machine. It is June 22nd this year.
June 22nd? All right.
June 22nd, 2024.
So put it on the calendar, get ready to go support your you know, a friendly local game store by picking up cool products.
Which I'm also going to say, if you are going to be at Origins this year, just like last year, Free RPG Day is the weekend of Origins. Um, so if
We'll have
you
some there.
we will have some there. The Free RPG Day will have a booth there, and they will undoubtedly have some of everything there. Um, but if you're not, go to your local store and pick something up.
Well, and go to your local store now and tell them to get the box
It's truly.
because they may not already be signed up. So, you
Yep,
know,
that's yes. Tell them to do that.
that's
There is a store
we
locator on there
yeah, we
on
went
their
to
website.
the Free RPG Day panel at GAMA.
It's true.
It's top of mind because it happened just weeks ago. We and this is, they don't just send out a box to every store. The box you have to buy the box of stuff. The
Right.
retailer has to buy the box. So if you want it as somebody who's watching this, go to your retailer and tell them to get it.
That's
And
right.
like the Free RPG Day, like Heckin' Good Doggos is on Drive Through RPG for free. You can never sell the product. That's part of the arrangement with Free RPG Day. So you could download that for free, and after within a reasonable time after the Free RPG Day, this Garbage and Glory Quick Start will be up there for free too. It's
Sure
so
will.
you'll be able to get a digital version of it for free, even if you don't have a friendly local game store. So
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. I'm
uh,
super excited about Free RPG Day this year. It
it
there's a lot of really cool
have
cool
you looked at some of the other products? Like,
I
do
have
you
looked at some of the other.
very quickly, do you want to what's a couple things you're excited for?
Well, one of the things that I'm excited for because I'm a dice goblin is
Such a dice goblin.
there's a Drizzt Do'Urden
Oh, right.
dice set that Wizard is going to do, and I don't know how many of those they're actually making or where they're going to go. But that's going to be out there. Free RPG Day usually always will get a custom dice tray made by one of the dice tray manufacturers. I don't remember who's doing it this year. But that's always cool to see again because I'm a dice goblin. Um, but some of our publisher partners this year, ninth level games, they always do the level up
Level one,
or level. I'm sorry, yeah, level one. Uh, um,
the
depending, I
anthology.
think this is their fifth one that they're
Yeah,
doing.
it'll be their fifth one.
Um, then yeah, BCW I think is the one that's making um the dice tray. Dispel Dice is gonna have a free RPG Day D20. Uh, I'm actually on the page right now. Um, the Free League is doing an adventure for Dragonbane, which is out now. There's I think the
Jonathan will love that.
Jonathan will love that. We have a friend who is uh Mr. Dragonbane. So um
He made it official. There's a shirt that says it. So
yep, right. And then um you know some of the large companies that participate, they'll always do some modules, maybe support some of their older stuff and seeing some of their new stuff as well. So Cool Mini or Not, or I'm sorry, not Cool Mini or Not. Come On is doing. Um, I learned recently, actually, I learned because of Free RPG Day that they are doing a Blood Rage RPG. And if you ever played the Blood
oh
Rage, uh,
man.
the Blood Rage mini or not miniatures game, board game,
I mean, it's
it's a
got a
lot
lot
of
of
fun.
miniatures in it.
It's got a lot of miniatures in it. It's a lot of fun.
I
I
love
like
Blood
Blood Rage.
Rage.
But Blood Rage, they're doing an RPG, and I was like,
Wow.
that's kind of cool. Good for
I
them.
was in that panel and I didn't hear that. I must have been
Oh man,
cutting up with Joe. Although I think that was a different panel. Um, anyway, uh,
I did not know, man. So Red Raven Games, who does like Above and Below, Near and Far, what is it? What's the other one? Now or Never.
Mm,
Uh, so those are games are all set in Azerium, Arzium, something like that. Whatever that setting, they're doing an RPG in that setting as well. There's a lot of really cool things that are coming out from, um, from a lot of board game companies that are
yeah,
doing
well,
RPGs of their properties.
yeah,
And
well, once Magpie shows them how, you might as well.
right. Well, and we learned that our friends at Ninth Level are actually doing
That's
um,
true. They did the
they're doing some of the RPGs for Restoration Games properties. So they're doing the RPG for Return to Dark Tower, which are is already out and it looks
yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and they announced that they're going to be doing the RPG for Thunder Road Vendetta, which looks pretty awesome.
yeah. I great.
You got all kinds of
I
stuff.
don't know. I mean, it could be anything. It could be anything you want. It sounds great.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
Um, so who knows? Uh, the potential for indie RPG companies to work with indie board game companies, or even to work with larger publishing partners is it's pretty cool to see the potential is always there,
sure.
right? Ideas are easy, execution is hard.
That's one of our many mottos. Uh, we don't have many mottos. We have a few mottos.
We have a few. That's one of them.
Yeah, that's one of them. All right. Last thing on the agenda for today, Brandon. I think this is I'm gonna let you talk about it. So what is actually coming next to crowdfunding from us?
Very next,
The very next one.
the
Like
very next one.
not
So
yeah,
some of you who are listening to this may have already been a supporter of ours for Banana Chan and Sen Fung Lim's Jiangshi Blood in the Banquet Hall. You know, we love that game. It was an absolute gorgeous product, great game, some fantastic designers. Well, we are very quickly approaching the end of the stock for that. So the very next thing that we're doing is it will be a crowdfunding campaign for the reprint of Zhongsha Blood in the Banquet Hall, but we are also going to be offering um, a new book of scenarios for those of you who already purchased Zhongsha or supported Zhongsha in the original crowdfunding. So it's an opportunity for existing players or existing supporters to get something new, and for people who are just learning of or just coming to Zhongsha Blood in the Banquet Hall to get the whole shebang. And yeah, so that's gonna be out. We have some really excellent designers
oh
who are
my,
going to
the
be working on
list.
some of these scenarios. The list is fantastic.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
we'll keep the list under wraps for now, but
we
like
are. We're gonna
uh
keep that pretty close to the chest for now. But from an art standpoint, Stephen Wu is one of our artists who uh did a lot of amazing art for that game, and he is already committed to returning to that project as well. So
right. I think we're gonna have I think at least one other artist is gonna be involved or we plan to have another artist involved, but yeah, Steven's back. Uh some of the other contributors are back, but we got a whole lot of new people as well. And we're gonna try to do some cool things with the was it it's Read Write Memory, right? Is the new name of the company, like Game and
oh yeah,
Curry. So
I forgot.
yeah,
Yeah, they rebranded, they changed the name of the
right.
company from Game and Curry to Read Write Memory.
Right.
So
So one of the things that is coming from Read Write is they want like a a lower a smaller package, like like enough of the content that you can play the game, but in a little smaller package. So I think we've talked about a to-go box that has some of the cards and dice in it, but not the game board and the rule books and stuff like that. So you can get the digital files, but the cards you need to play, but not the books because you could read those digitally. So there's some other levels that we're offering, some different
And
ways
that,
to enjoy the game.
yeah, and that one is a from a manufacturing and from a design standpoint, that is in a conceptual phase right now, and we it's whether or not
Sure.
it makes it to the project, we don't know yet, but we'll see very soon as we approach that.
Right. I mean, we are building the project now, but it is definitely what we are looking forward to at this time.
Oh yes, we have some other really cool and exciting stuff, but
Oh
we're
my
gonna hold
gosh.
off on that.
Such a long list, Brandon.
We do.
We
We have a
I
long list of things in development. We have a long list of things that we have recently signed by some amazing designers. Um, but right
just
now, we're going to hold on to those until probably our next one, our next one of these sessions. Gosh, I guess that'll be right after Origins too, so we can give an Origins update.
yeah, I mean the
Is
we sh
that about?
3 months from now is July. So this is April, so
Yeah,
3 months from now is July. So
yeah.
that'll
So that'll be,
it'll be
and so
between.
that'll be right after Free RPG Day too, so we can give an update on some of that info
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
That'll be neat. It'll be neat. And so we'll let you know kind of some of the stuff that's going to be coming in Q3 and Q4, uh, and maybe even
Yeah,
hint
I
at some
mean,
of the stuff.
as we've talked about this thing, like there's a lot of projects that are not finished. So we want to finish some of these over the next 3 months,
Yes,
and then we'll start talking about the things that we have lined up for after that.
we
Basically,
actually
is
have even shifted one of our projects that we were planning to start, later this month, and we were like, nope, it's not right. We're not going to do that. We're gonna just take that and shift it to this other development window. Let's just wrap these things up. Let's get these
mhm,
things out the door, wrap these things up, and move on.
yeah,
So,
that's
which I mean, it's the right thing to do, and
right.
I think it's going to be really uh we're gonna run out of space at some of these cons, Matt.
Well, that's I mean,
Good problem to have.
that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. A good problem to have. Every problem that we've ever had feels like it's a good problem to have, except that time we had to pay that much to get those pallets shipped out of China. That was not a good problem to have.
No, it's not a good problem to have.
Um,
Uh, our
but
first
I mean,
Game
I
Boy
guess it
Con where I
was
left the point
because
of sale in my house. That was
oh,
also not a good problem to have.
that was also not a good problem to have. But I mean, but even those, right? Even those, like
Right.
the first time that we manufactured something overseas, it cost a lot to ship it, and that was a problem. But it was because it was 2020, and you remember 2020. But the
Do I?
it was I think 2021. I think it was the whatever the shipping container crisis of post
Oh yeah.
pandemic time period. Um, but even that is like we're manufacturing something really cool, a big box, cool game, with amazing art and great designers, and so that's why we are in this situation. And so I mean, even that is a good problem to have. All right, that's enough nasal gazing. Oh my goodness,
Navel gazing?
navel gazing is what I was trying to say.
Like,
It's
oh,
getting late here. So do not gave your nasals, and we gotta wrap this up. Brandon, thank you so much for your time talking to me today. I love talking to you, hanging out
I'm
with
just thinking
you.
about Gavin nasals, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how can you not? Um, all right. That's the end. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you for your continued support. Thank you for gaming with us, and our products. You know, it's a real treat to bring you these conversations, where we get to talk about like what we're doing because we're doing all this and we're having a lot of fun, but knowing that you are also having fun is sort of you know, it's part of the process. It's part of the process.
Don't forget to gave your nasals.